Podcast show. I'm here. I'm your host, Chris. I'm here to talk about troubleshooting pumps. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong. So say you lose flow on your pump. You don't know why. You go out there troubleshooting. There's a lot of different scenarios that can cause you to lose flow on your pump. Sometimes it could just be as simple as just losing prime. You just have to get your pump prime back up to get it going. But there's a lot of other things too that can happen on there. And so let's talk about some troubleshooting things you can do. Okay, so once again, we got a little drawing here. Suction in, goes through the impeller, pumps it, goes out to the discharge. You have a block valve here, a block valve here for your suction and discharge. You got a check valve, preventative backflow when the pump shuts off. You got a pressure gauge to tell you what your pressure is. You should always know what you need to run around what your pressure should be, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, just depending on what kind of pump you have and what's pumping through there, right? These are a lot of our pumps. We have bleeds on the discharge where we can clear through the impeller, and we have bleeds on the suction. So if you want to clear through here, clear anything on there, okay? Then you got your motor, you got your coupling on there. Motor turns the coupling, turns the impeller, puts the pump out. That's pretty self. Comes in, goes out. Now a lot of times it's not as easy as just going over there, hitting the pump and starting to back up. A lot of our pumps have seals on them. A lot of them have air to the seals. Some have chemical. And, so if I'm sitting there and I tell my outside guy to say, hey, I lost prime on the pump, a lot of times he's going to go out there. The first thing he's going to do is going to say, okay, look, let me look at my pressure gauge. Let me see how my pressure looks. If it's working on there, he's going to try to throttle back on the discharge and then try to build up some pressure and then go from there and see if he can get the pump going on there. It could be multiple things. You could walk out there and find that your coupling is broken in half. You can come up, motor spinning, your impeller's not because your coupling broke in half. I've had that happen multiple times where I'm out there. There should be a guard right here over your coupling anyway, so it doesn't ever go on. But you got to look in there and make sure that we had it happen the other night. Try to transfer something, wouldn't transfer. Go out there. It showed it was running on the board inside, but we go out there and look, the coupling broke, so we had to clear it and get maintenance out there. Another time it could be that you lose flow is a guy at the other unit wherever this pump sends material could have blocked you in. I've had that happen multiple times too, where another unit, the guy just walking around, sees something, blocked it in. Next thing you know, I'm losing my flow. My outside guy is trying to figure out what to do. He's like, hey man, I'm not getting it. I'm like, hold on, let me call the other unit. Call the other unit. Oh yeah, we blocked you in for a minute. They didn't tell us. That happens a lot too. You're supposed to communicate between all the units. It does happen on there, and so that's another thing too. Another thing could be on there that depending on what you're flowing through your pump, like we have a lot of heavies that flow, a lot of bottom stuff. So on here we get polymer over time, and polymer could get stuck in this impeller here and cause it, and it's not cutting it up or breaking it. A big piece of a chunk of polymer get in there, so that also causes your restriction. You can't flow because it's getting in there and it messes up the suction and stuff on it too. A lot of times we have to clear back up into our column. We have to clear through our impeller, get all that polymer, whatever's out, and then we go down and we can get it started back up. A lot of pumps have strainers. So like on our discharge, there are suction strainers too. We don't have a lot of those left anymore, but on our discharge of that, we have a lot of strainers on there. So just it's a basket that sits, and think of like a colander or something that you strain spaghetti out of when you're cooking. Think of that, but it's a basket inside. You ever seen a pool pump? It's got a basket in there. It's basically a strainer. So any material that goes through there, if any polymer or anything heavies, it's going to get it stuck in that strainer, so it lets the chemical go down the way. We've had it to where we've had a whole strainer full. That's going to block your flow going, so you have to go out there. You have to block everything in, change your strainer, empty it out, get a new one in, and then get your pump primed and go from there. It could also be if you're going downstream, you might have a control valve. Your control valve opens and closes. So if you want to get a certain flow on it, say you want 5,000 pounds per minute or whatever, or 5,000 pounds an hour or whatever, well, you're going to open your control valve so far. It's going to open and it's going to control that, but your control valve gets plugged on there too. So that's another thing, depending on what kind of material you have going through there, if you get plugged. So a lot of times you have a bypass around your flow meter. You can bypass it, clear through your control valve, get it nice and clear, line it back up, and then you should have your flow on there too. Another thing too could be your air. If you have air to this sill and you walk out there and you're not getting a good flow, and you look over there and you start seeing a drip under here where your sill goes in, well then your sill's starting to leak. So if your sill's starting to leak, then you're not going to have the flow you need on there. So a lot of times if you have air to it or chemical, whatever it is to it, it's going to go in there and it's going to mess up your flow of that too. So a lot of times you have to go in there, get it fixed. If you have a sister pump, get your sister pump on, write a work order on there, tag it out, get them to replace that sill, and then once they're done on there too. Like a lot of times there's air, so you turn your air off. You can get your pump prime, but as soon as you turn that air back on that sill, it's getting in there with the material flowing through, so it's going to cause less flow through there, and you're going to lose flow on that too. Another thing too, check your breaker. Your breaker might have popped for some reason. There are times that so we have there are a lot of people have different ones. Like if you lose flow for a minute, or say your level gets below a certain thing in a tank or whatever, it's going to kill that pump before the level comes back up. So think, okay, when the level starts coming back up, go check your breaker, reset that, then your pump should go. We have that on ours. If it gets below a certain level, or it just stops flow because nothing going through it, it's gonna throw the breaker for a safeguard on there, and then it's an interlock. That's basically what it is. Interlock, you lose flow, it's gonna cut your pump off, and then you just gotta build your level back up, go reset your breaker, get your pump prime on there too. Start-stop buttons go out. I've seen those go out too, mess up your pumps. I've seen your couplings. I've seen your impellers go out. I've seen your impellers get plugged on there. You get cleared through it. We use steam on a lot of things. We have utility stations, so we're able to steam through there and get this stuff out. I've even seen your check valves mess up. I've even seen those where it's got plugged on there or something happens. I've even seen after a shutdown when you're trying to get flow on a pump and this check valve is turning the opposite way and you can't get any flow out. And you're like, wow, so they put it in backwards. They didn't put it in the way that the arrow's going for the check valve. So they put it in backwards, and then you have to go out there and call the maintenance guy out and say, hey, we need this check valve turned so we can get the right flow on there. There could be multiple things, but there's a lot of things for when you're trying to troubleshoot a pump. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's just easy, as it just could be you just lost prime. You go from there. The next step, you check your coupling, and if you have any kind of anything to your sill, check your sill, make sure your sill's not leaking. Check your valves going downstream, check your control valves, have your inside guy stroke the valves out there for you while you're trying to clear through the line. If all of a sudden, here's a good example too. If you get prime back on your pump and you start seeing a flow go, and then all of a sudden you see your flow drop off, well then follow that line down. It could be a line, it could be a valve close somewhere down the line. You'll get flow for a second and then it'll cut off. It could be somebody blocked you down the line. That happens to us a lot on there. I have to call the other unit and say, hey man, can you open our valve back up? Strainers, check your strainers. Now we have some that have suction strainers. So you have a strainer here before it goes inside, so it kicks all that. That's happened too, where it's not getting enough in there, or somebody decides to clear a line on there and they didn't tell you, and the next thing you know, you get air or steam in there, and that's gonna lose it on there too. I've even have it seen. It's another thing too. So you have this pump right here, and you got flow going, and all of a sudden your flow stops, and you see something. You're watching your level and your column, and your level and your column looks okay, but then they can't get any prime on the bottom of the pump. So you have your outside guy go out there and say, hey, clear the level leads on the column. They go out and clear the level leads on the column, goes to zero, they blow it with air, clear it, everything is good, line it back up. I start seeing my level come up, but it's the weirdest thing, right? So it's almost like in the column, it'll get a vapor block in there, like it's some air like between where the level is and on there. So remember, you have vacuum on a column, so it's pulling. You have your chemicals going in, and it's almost like there's an area in there that it's just like just a vapor area right there. So it can't get anything. So we actually had to blow up into the column, clear that on there, and then let material start coming down. Once we got the material coming down, then we were able to get the pump primed and going forward on there too. So that we've had that happen where it's been vapor locked on there too. So there's a lot of stuff on here on troubleshooting pumps. Sometimes it's just, like I said, sometimes it's simple as just priming your pump. but it could be multiple things. It could be your coupling gone out, your impeller's messed up, somebody blocked you down the way. If you have a strainer, your strainer could be plugged. You're not getting flow that way. If you have a heavy material, you could be plugged around your control valve. You stroke your control valve. If you can't get it back, clear it through there and go from there. It could be anything that failed. It could be your seal that failed. You could lose air on there. If you lose air on there, then if you have air to there, it could fail there too. You know, some of them, we have certain heavy chemicals that go in there to that seal besides air to help it. It cleans it up, you know, makes it thinner for the heavy stuff to go out. So it could lose there too on that too. Because you lost flow, you know, your column goes empty, and your level could be wrong in your column. If you're coming off a tank, your tank goes empty and you forget about it. Or you have a big tank and you have material in there, but you can't get flow because it's a long piece of pipe. So you have to clear up in there, break away any junk in there, and then let it come through the pump, let it come out, let it go through let it bleed out, get all that air out in there, and then just try to start your pump from there. So these are all little things here and there and stuff. Just keep in mind that it's not just starting the pump and walking away on there. So sometimes you have to spend a little time out there doing it. But I want to throw this little video here for anybody. If anybody got any questions, leave a comment down below. If you've experienced different things, love to hear what you have to say too on there. Like, share, subscribe on there. If you need help with your resumes, I'm here to help too.